Hear ye, hear ye. Dave Chappelle has offended the trans community again.
Lord, again.
At this point, don't you guys know you're just giving the man free publicity? Like, do you know how I found out about this Netflix special? It was not through paid marketing. It was from all of the selective outrage making its way all over social media from people like this.
I don't know what doll hurt Dave Chappelle. I really don't. But it's giving disgruntled client. It's giving angry trick. It's giving he wanted to kiss on the mouth, and she was like, no, I don't do that. I upcharge for that. If you want to do that, you got to give me XYZ. And he was like, oh, no, ma'am. And his ego was bruised, honey, so he went on a rampage.
The amount of marketing you all do for him, you are all basically Dave Chappelle employees. You are unpaid Dave Chappelle employees. He should pay you guys. The more you voice your outrage is the more attention you bring to him, and the more people go to watch to see what he said. Just like I did. I watched the special, and that shit was hilarious.
I have a great reputation in show business, but in comedy, I'm what's known as a lazy comedian, which is crazy because I work all the time, but that's not why they call me lazy. They call me lazy because I do shows sometimes, 20,000 people be in the crowd, and I'll tell a joke, and they'll all look at me like I'm crazy. But 3 or 4 people will laugh really hard. And I'll be on stage like, yeah, that's good enough.
Hello everyone, if you're a new viewer, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If this is your second, third, fourth time watching one of my videos and you're not yet subscribed, we already go together. Okay, make it official and hit that subscribe button. We are just a few days into 2024 and Dave Chappelle is in the headlines already for his new Netflix special called The Dreamer. And here are just a few of the headlines so you can get the gist of what people are saying. This one is from the Daily Beast, and it says, Dave Chappelle's new Netflix special proves he's learned nothing. In his first new special since 2021's The Closer, Chappelle goes right back to mocking trans people, and along with Ricky Gervais, now punches down at the disabled as well. And the Rolling Stone wrote this, Dave Chappelle's The Dreamer proves he's obsessed with trans people. Stand-up comedian's 7th Netflix Stand-up comedian's 7th Netflix stand-up special. There were so many S's in that sentence. I had to film that like 5 times.
I could barely read, so I like looking at pictures better, you know?
All of the articles basically say the same thing. They say he's not funny. They say that he makes fun of disabled people and trans people, and he's so evil and oh my god. Look, Dave Chappelle makes fun of everyone. In all of his specials, he makes fun of everyone. He even went so far as to make fun of his wife and her Asian heritage.
I waited for her to fall asleep. And when I waited a long time, she's Asian. I couldn't tell if she was asleep or not. I was looking at her. And when I was sure she was asleep, you know what I did? I stole the iPhone, took it downstairs and started trying out passwords to see if I could open it. I couldn't figure out the password. Then I remembered it's an iPhone. This shit has facial recognition. I was just like, oh.
Many of the articles use the phrase punching down, and they say when he makes fun of trans people, he is punching down. First of all, Dave Chappelle is a multi-millionaire, super famous, and influential comedian. The definition of punching down is to attack or criticize someone in a less powerful position. So by that definition, he pretty much can't make jokes about 95% of the population. It's ridiculous to say that a comedian can only poke fun at people who have more power than them, because all of the jokes would just be about wealthy people and politicians. And while there is definitely a lot of material, especially about Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates being reptilians.
Everybody wants to know, are you actually human?
I don't know the answer to that exactly off the top of my head either.
Comedy would be much less enjoyable if comedians were only allowed to make fun of people who had more power than them. Comedians should be allowed to make fun of everyone. Okay? Secondly, the term punching down is a phrase that he uses in the Netflix special as a part of the punchline to his joke, because that's something that he has been accused of so many times. The headlines previously have always said that Dave Chappelle punches down. So in his comedy special, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna make fun of these people because I enjoy punching down. It's supposed to be an ironic joke. And ironically, the headlines now say Dave Chappelle is punching down. He used that punchline because that's what people accuse him of, and now they are accusing him of it again. I don't literally think Dave Chappelle sits there at night writing jokes because he looks down on people. I think he sees the craziness in the world that we live in, and he finds the humor in it, and he writes his comedy around that. And Dave Chappelle previously had a friendship with a trans comedian named Daphne Dorman, who even opened for Chappelle. And Chappelle spoke about this in his previous Netflix special, The Closer. He spoke about how the woke mob on Twitter dragged him for his jokes about the LGBTQ community, and at the time, Daphne Dorman defended him. Quote, "Punching down requires you to consider yourself superior to another group. Dave Chappelle doesn't consider himself better than me in any way. He isn't punching up or punching down, he's punching lines. That's his job and he's a master of his craft." And of course, we all know how loving and accepting and tolerant and open-minded the Alphabet Mafia is not, okay? They didn't like the fact that Daphne had an opinion that was different from the rest of them, and Daphne was mercilessly bullied and harassed online to the point where Daphne committed suicide. So I don't really think that these radical keyboard warriors and activists have a leg to stand on when it comes to criticizing Dave Chappelle, but there's more hypocrisy that I would like to point out. There are so many clips of trans comedians making jokes that have similar themes to Dave Chappelle, but it's only offensive when Dave says it. In The Dreamer, Dave Chappelle makes a joke where he says that he hopes if he ever gets arrested, that he gets arrested in California because
as soon as the judge sentenced me, I'll be like, Your Honor, before you sentence me, I just want the court to know I identify as a woman. Send me to women's jail. And as soon as I get in there, you know what I'm gonna be doing? Give me a fruit cocktail before I knock your mother teeth out. I'm a girl just like you. Come over here and suck this girl I got. Don't make me explain myself. I'm a girl.
So he's joking about how little effort a man has to put in to be considered a woman by modern society standards, and apparently that's an offensive joke to make and Dave Chappelle should be canceled for it. Well, there's a comedian who identifies as a trans woman, and this is them talking about their own womanhood.
I feel like I'm trying to get people to gender me correctly in the scenic route. Like, I'll just become so famous. Anything where I don't have to get any surgery or anything. I've got no surgery, nothing. Not on my face, not on my nothing. No surgery. It's small enough to be anyway. All right, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. None of this is planned. So lazy, no hormones, I didn't change my legal name. I didn't want to go to the DMV, you know? Robert Tran, still my name. Legally, Robert Tran. I didn't even change my email.
Robert Tran has put so little effort into passing that Robert Tran fully has a 5 o'clock shadow. Bruh. So there's another joke that has people very upset, and it's the Jim Carrey joke. So the Jim Carrey joke is kind of told like a story. So Dave Chappelle starts off talking about being very upset when his father passed away. He was very down, he was having a hard time being inspired. It was just a very dark time in his life, and Norm Macdonald, who was really good friends with Dave Chappelle, said, "Hey, I know you're a fan of Jim Carrey. How about you come to the set and you meet Jim Carrey?" And Dave's like, "Okay, great, finally something that I can feel good about," because he was, feeling so down about his father passing away. So in the story, he says he goes to the set of Man on the Moon that Jim Carrey was filming, and in the film, Jim Carrey plays Andy Kaufman. Now, at the time, Jim Carrey was doing something that many actors do, and that is method acting. So Jim Carrey was in character as Andy Kaufman the entire time. So everyone on the set wasn't even calling him Jim, they were calling him Andy.
I just went there to meet him, and when he walked into the room where we were supposed to meet, I screamed, "Jim Carrey!" And everyone said, "No!" Call him Andy.
So essentially, Dave Chappelle never really met Jim. He met Andy Kaufman.
And then he came over and he was acting weird. I didn't know he was acting like Andy Kaufman. Just like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I was like, "Hello." Andy, in hindsight, how fucking lucky am I that I got to see one of the greatest artists of my time immersed in one of his most challenging processes ever. Very lucky to have seen that. But as it was happening, I was very disappointed. because I wanted to meet Jim Carrey, and I had to pretend this was Andy Kaufman all afternoon. And he was clearly Jim Carrey. I could look at him and I could see he was Jim Carrey. Anyway, I say all that to say, that's how trans people make me feel.
So the punchline of the joke is that he feels like he has to play along with a character that someone else is playing, in this case, a trans person. Now, I could see how people may get mad at that joke, but honestly, that shit was funny.
Okay.
But there's also trans comedians who make jokes about their own trans identity and about how people view them and view their gender. Like, take this one, for example.
I like to fuck with people, too, because I feel like not everyone knows what I am, because I'm kind of in this in-between phase, you know? So I like to take advantage of it. So I do a lot of voiceover work in LA, but right now I'm just only going in for mom commercials. That's it. Just mom roles. Just to throw people off. I show up, they're like, oh, I'm sorry, sir, ma'am, sir. The Jiffy Lube audition is down the hall. I'm like, no, I'm here for this, give me the sides. And then I go in like real mask. And I just go in and I'm like, bring a honey baked ham home to your family over the holidays, and you'll have more time to love them.
You see what I'm getting at here? I don't think people are mad at the jokes. They're mad that Dave Chappelle is the one saying it. And people can make the argument that these comedians who are trans are making self-deprecating jokes, therefore it's okay. But respectfully, I disagree. If it's offensive to say it, it's offensive to say it regardless of who is saying it. Now, as far as the disabled jokes go,
I got a whole new angle. You guys will never see this shit coming. I ain't doing trans jokes no more. You know what I'm gonna do tonight? Tonight, I'm doing all handicap jokes. Well, they're not as organized as the gays, and I love punching down. There's probably a handicap in the back right now, because that's where they usually make them sit. I came here to laugh at transgender people. I didn't know this was gonna make jokes about us. Come on, y'all, let's get the up out of here.
you know when someone makes a joke and it's funny, but you can't laugh because your jaw is on the floor in shock because you just can't believe they said that? That was me.
Yeah, it's about time somebody let these handicaps have it. They done met their match tonight. Fuck them.
He tells a joke about a time he was in Congress and he bumped into a former U.S. congressman named Madison Cawthorn.
Because I saw him and I go, hello, Congressman. He didn't even know I knew who he was. He turned around. Then I just walked away. I wanted him to see me do something he couldn't do. I skipped.
There was 2 other punchlines in this joke that were super cheesy, but it's funny when Dave says it. Like, they're definitely dad jokes, but he makes them funny.
He's no longer a congressman. I don't know if you follow politics. I'm not trying to be funny, but he lost his seat. He ran a bad race.
Despite the fact that it was a bit of an old story, I still really enjoyed the joke about the heckler rushing the stage. In the joke, he says that the heckler attacked him with a knife that identified as a gun. So the attacker had a replica gun that had a knife inside of it. And he was actually planning on stabbing Dave Chappelle with the knife that night when he, rushed the stage. Now, if you all saw the photo, that heckler got his ass kicked, okay? But anyways, Dave says that night when he went back to the hotel, his wife was there and she was in tears. She was bawling her eyes out. She was crying. She was devastated at the thought of losing Dave. And he says, when she was crying, I started to cry too. Because seeing her pain, it just really tore me up. She's like, if you were to leave, I would have nothing. And he says to her that if anything were to happen to me, just open the safety deposit box and the contents of the safety deposit box we'll make sure that you and the kids are okay. And then he says this.
And she was looking at them keys, and I could see her mind realize what we were actually talking about. And then she just started crying harder. And to be honest with you, that made me cry a little bit too. And we hugged each other real tight. Do you know this bitch looked in the box while I'm alive and well?
So I have to say that personally, Dave Chappelle is one of my favorite comedians. I did a video about him previously, and that's probably like my most viewed video on this channel. But I have to say, I really enjoy his comedy style. He does his jokes in a story, and he really subverts the audience's expectations. So you're listening to the joke, and he's going straight down the road, and then all of a sudden he turns to the left, and you're just like, I didn't think that's where the joke was going. He's very good at that. And his delivery, he's very animated. He's very charismatic. Dave Chappelle is one of the best comedians, and that's why he gets so much hate from all these communities that are fake offended. You guys aren't offended. We live in a day and age where everybody just wants to be a victim. Everyone wants special victim status. Like, this is Law and Order, SVU. Like, we can't all be victims, okay? Now look, everyone is entitled to their opinion. There's some people who are not gonna find Dave Chappelle funny. That's fine. But why are you calling for the man to be canceled? You could, if you don't like it, just don't watch. I'm sure there are tons of comedians out there who are trans or LGBTQ, and they make jokes about cisgendered people and how cisgendered people don't want to be called cis and blah, blah, blah. And to me, it's not really funny. I'm sure the community might find it hilarious. I don't think it's funny, but do I go around trying to get these people canceled? No. If I don't like it, I just don't watch. Very simple. And that is all I have to say for this video. I feel like the last little part was a little bit of a rant. I think that's all I have for this video. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think about Dave Chappelle's Netflix special? Did you enjoy it? Did you think some of his old specials were better? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Or do you refuse to watch him because you're sensitive? Whatever it is, let me know in the comment section down below. If you liked this video, please don't forget to hit the like button. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.